Todd reached up to the plant, holding his breath. He cradled a single purple fruit and pushed it gently aside, looking for a flower that was low enough to reach. That morning he had gone back to the woman's cramped shop, convincing himself as the bell tinkled and the door closed behind him that he would not be intimidated this time. The assorted bottles peered down at him obnoxiously, and the grotesque pickles inside them seemed to search his soul. He was staring back at one particularly large jar in defiance when he became aware that she was behind him. "You're back again, boy. You've made your decision, then?" "Yes'm." From his pocket, Todd pulled 5 weeks' worth of pocket money. "Are you sure this is what you want?" "Yes'm." "You have the personal item required?" From his other pocket, Todd pulled a fat leather wallet. "This is the subject's." "Yes'm, it's Randy's." "Who is Randy?" "He's my mom's boyfriend, ma'am." "I see." The woman held the wallet up to her nose and drew in air noisily. "There is one more thing you must acquire for the spell to work. I require a pink bloom of deadly nightshade." "A bloom, ma'am? A flower?" "The toxin is how your intentions to the subject are conveyed." "Don't you have any yourself?" "It must be provided by you, for the hate to truly transmute." Todd didn't understand most of what the old woman was saying, but he nodded sagely anyway. "Go," she said through terse lips, "and bring me the flower of deadly nightshade." Todd turned to leave, but as he reached the door she called after him, "Be careful, boy! You have started a course of events, and now someone must die. If you try to back out by picking a flower with no toxin, then the victim may be you." And then she was gone. He had gone home that night to Wikipedia Nightshade on his mum's computer. The internet wasn't as fast as at school, but he was patient, and when the page loaded he skimmed it excitedly. To his delight, he found that the quest might not be as hard as he had thought. While deadly nightshade was only found on other continents, like Europe or Africa, potatoes, tomatoes, and eggplants were in the same family. After some quick deduction, he knew what he must do. The woman said he must find a pink flower. His dad used to grow tomatoes in his allotment, and he remembered that the flowers were yellow. He had no idea about potato flowers, and no idea where he might get potatoes. The farmers might grow some, but as far as he knew, they grew mostly corn, and the farms were miles away. There was no way he would get to them without his mum knowing. But Mr. Haley next door, he kept an eggplant in his kitchen window. Todd had seen it when playing in the yard. That is where he would get his flower. He couldn't ask Mr. Haley next door for a flower outright. Too many questions would be asked. But he wouldn't have to. Todd knew where Mr. Haley kept his emergency key, in the mouth of a Chinese-looking frog on his porch, and Todd was good at being sneaky. That night, he snuck out of bed, down the stairs, out of the front door. He didn't close it, which was a genius move, as he would make less noise getting keys and less noise shutting the door itself, and over to Mr. Haley's house. He picked the key out of the Chinese frog's mouth and opened Mr. Haley's front door. He had never been next door in Mr. Haley's house before, but Todd found the kitchen easily enough, and there he found the eggplant. It was high on a shelf, so that Todd would have to stretch out his arms to pick a flower. He reached up to the plant, holding his breath. He cradled a single purple fruit and pushed it gently aside, looking for a flower that was low enough to reach. It was then that he had his thought. People eat eggplants. He remembered his mom telling him so when he had asked about the plant in the window, but then he saw a pretty pink bloom, and remembered a show on the Discovery Channel about a poisonous fish that people eat. This must be like that. People only eat the safe bit. "What are you doing in my house?" It was Mr. Haley. Todd whirled around, trying to think of a way to explain, but Mr. Haley didn't hesitate. He grabbed the nearest weapon he could find. The last thing Todd saw was the waffle iron descending towards his head. So I sort of want to apologise for that, because A, it probably isn't very good, and B, it's quite dark. I mean, yours was dark, Heather, but that was like, that was murder dark, as opposed to domestic violence dark. I don't think I have the right, really, actually, thinking about it, to decide which is darker. Anyway, there you are. That's that. Bye.